In Ohio, a black paraplegic man has filed a complaint with the NAACP against the Dayton Police Department over an encounter captured on an officer's body camera. The video shows police pulling 39-year-old Clifford Owensby by his hair and arms after they say he refused their help getting out of the car. CNN's Laura Jarrett joins us now. Laura, walk us through what happened here.
John, it's another disturbing traffic stop. This one started late last month in Ohio, as you mentioned, after police claimed they saw Clifford Owensby leave what they suspected was a house for drug dealing. Now, the officers stopped his car, and authorities have now released roughly 12 minutes of body cam footage that captures this encounter. The audio makes it difficult to hear at times, but take a look at this.
I can't step out of the car, sir. But you got to leave. I got help you.
Well, I'll help you getting out. Excuse me? I'm gonna help you getting out. Get out. Excuse me? I'm gonna help you getting out. Get out.
Well, I don't think that's gonna happen, sir. I don't think that's gonna happen, sir.
I do. I'm asking you, but I'm asking you, but I'm telling you. So it's not an option.
Can I ask you what's the problem?
Yeah, the problem is that
Not going to happen because he can't move his legs.
You don't care about this guy. No one cares about this guy except for the fact that it's a police officer. Now, the police didn't pull his name out of a hat. Okay? There's a reason they're pulling this guy over. They were doing surveillance on the drug house. This guy went there and came out. And they're stopping him. And just because he's paraplegic does not mean he can't slang. Trust me, it does not mean anything. He's driving, right? He's driving. Okay? I bet he's screwing out of both pants legs. I bet he don't have no idea who Kevin Samuels is. I bet you he a whole pookie out here swimming in women with their own condominiums. Don't have a clue who Kevin Samuels is.
I'm asking you, but I'm telling you. So it's not an option.
Can I ask you what's the problem?
Yeah, the problem is that
Not going to happen because he can't move his legs. The officer then explains Owensby can't be in the car when a narcotics canine dog sniffs the vehicle. Owensby repeatedly asks for the officer to call a supervisor to the scene.
And that whole supervisor to the scene thing, if they did that with every traffic stop in these cities, you'd need 100 supervisors. That's a very kind of cornball, like lame type idea of the world. Like, well, he asked to call the supervisor to see. Like, well, yeah, but no, get out the car. They don't do that. Like, if they did that every single... No. Get out the car. It's very simple. Get out the car. Now, would I want to get out the car? No, because I would have drugs on me. I would be like this guy. I'd have drugs in it. Back in my day, I would have been doing... I'd have went to that house, scored me a pound or a QP or whatever, a couple pounds or whatever, and been going back to the spot to break it down. So yeah, I would be not trying to get out either. But what I'm saying is, like, all this, I want to supervise. Nah, it don't work like that. Nah, they don't. That's like the move. I don't know where y'all get that from.
The officer then explains Owensby can't be in the car when a narcotics canine dog sniffs the vehicle. Owensby repeatedly asks for the officer to call a supervisor to the scene.
I can't get out of the vehicle, sir.
I'm going to assist you. As someone assisted you getting the
No, you're not. No, you're not. You're not going to touch me. And I'm definitely not about to touch me. And I'm about to go ahead and get somebody on the line. Because I will. It will be a lawsuit if you put your hands on me for no reason, bro.
Things are already getting tense, and then they escalate.
Can you come down the street to Ferguson and Grand? The police just pulled me over and they trying to make me get out the car, and I'm telling them I'm a paraplegic. I can't get out the car without no help. And these motherfuckers trying to they on some shit. Just come down the street, bring some people with cameras.
You're getting out of the car. That's not an option. You're getting out of this car. So you can cooperate and get out of the car, or I'll drag you out of the car. You see your two options here?
All right, and then, as you see here, the officers pull Owensby out of the car.
I know I'm paraplegic, bro. You can hurt me. You can hurt me, bro. What are y'all doing, bro? You're making me. I'm a paraplegic, bro. I'm trying to tell you that I got help getting in the car. Y'all can hurt me. They can hurt me. Get out of the car. Damn, bro. I'm a paraplegic. Ow. You have to get out. Ow. Somebody help. Somebody help. Somebody help. Somebody help. Someone help. So are y'all recording this? Somebody help. I'm a paraplegic. They are doing the thing to me. Somebody please help me.
Worth noting here, as you hear him screaming as all this is happening, a 3-year-old child was actually in the car at the time. A police report shows Owensby was charged with obstructing official business and resisting arrest, both misdemeanors for what you just saw. The department said the police retrieved a bag with about $22,000 of cash from the car. Owensby says that's his savings, and he points out there were no drugs found in the car, and he wasn't charged with any drug-related offenses.
So he was just riding around with 22,000. So what probably happened in this case was he went to sell, or either he went to sell some weed and he had a child in the car, which is just bad, which no one cares about that child. CNN don't care about that little son kid. And you can tell that by the way they don't report on the dozens and dozens that are killed every week by stray bullets. But our buddy was he either went to sell. That's a whole lot of, that's a key. He sold some keys, or that's a trap house and he went to pick up the drop. That's the drop. Or, like he said, he just riding around with his life savings. Riding around the hood with his life savings in the car. You make the choice.
Worth noting here, as you hear him screaming as all this is happening, a 3-year-old child was actually in the car at the time. A police report shows Owensby was charged with obstructing official business and resisting arrest, both misdemeanors for what you just saw. The department said the police retrieved a bag with about $22,000 of cash from the car. Owensby says that's his savings, and he points out there were no drugs found in the car, and he wasn't charged with any drug-related offenses. The department, for its part, says the Bureau of its professional standards is now investigating this. Meanwhile, Owensby is accusing this department of profiling, unlawful arrest, illegal search and seizure, and failure to read him his rights before taking him to jail. CNN has reached out to James Willis, his attorney, for comment. John, a lot of questions on this one.
That is very difficult to watch and raises a lot of questions. Laura Jarrett, thank you very much.
We begin with new information about a woman seriously injured by a suspected criminal on the run in Times Square. Police say he shoved her to the ground as he was trying to get away. And tonight, we've learned the victim, a nurse from New Jersey, has died. CBS 2's Kieran Dillon reports.
It's a horrible thing. I don't know what to tell you. I can feel it now because it's gone. It's gone.
Amelia Cruz can barely catch her breath, a little more than 24 hours after her close friend, oncology nurse Maria Ambrosio, was assaulted in front of her. She was at her side along with family as she was taken off life support.
This is just horrible, man. This woman, wrong place, wrong time, or was the thug who was running from the police and pushed her down in the wrong place at the wrong time? Because it seems like the victim always gets the rap for being in the wrong place at the wrong time. Like you could be on the bus going to work, same bus you catch every morning, and the stray bullet crashed through the window and and hit the person in the head in the wrong place, wrong time. Well, goddamn, if they would have caught the next bus, they would have been late. They was in the right place. Like, we always put that wrong place, wrong time on the victim. I just want to be. I'm not telling nobody else what to do. I just want to be more aware of that, because I use that. I do that sometimes too. This woman was not in the wrong place. She was right where she was supposed to be.
Maria Ambrosio was assaulted in front of her. She was at her side along with family as she was taken off life support.
She's every friend that anybody wants to have. She's a very kind person, extremely sincere, honest, and loving.
You notice she didn't talk about how funny the lady was? How she was always cracking jokes? Sincere, honest, and loving. Heard that? That's how you talk about somebody who just died that you care about. You don't tell the whole world that they used to crack a bunch of jokes, and that's it. Now, if that's one of 10, 15 things you spout off, that's cool. But if that's the only thing that you say, like, come on. Like, even Eddie Murphy, when he passed, they ain't going to say that about him. They're going to have a lot of other things to say. Like, y'all got to stop that, man. Be careful about that.
She's every friend that anybody wants to have. She's a very kind person, extremely sincere, honest, and loving.
Both nurses at Bayonne Medical Center, Cruz and Ambrosio, were in Times Square Friday afternoon. Cruz says they had just finished lunch when a man plowed into Ambrosio outside a pizzeria. Police say that man was being chased after stealing another man's phone. She fell and cracked her skull when her head hit the pavement.
And this won't be a national story, but guess what was a national story a few weeks ago involving Sun people and other POCs? Yeah. Carmines. A group of 6 were let in, Sun people were let in because they had their vax cards. They wanted 3 more to come in, but they didn't have their vax cards, so they weren't allowed in. So the Sun sisters beat the brakes off of the hostess and said that she called them a slur. That made national news. This, you won't hear a peep about this, even on YouTube, except for this channel.
Cruz says they had just finished lunch when a man plowed into Ambrosio outside a pizzeria. Police say that man was being chased after stealing another man's phone. She fell and cracked her skull when her head hit the pavement.
I hope that he will be charged and, justice should be served. So my friend's life won't be in vain.
Police say the homeless man, 26-year-old Jermaine Foster, took off but was later caught and arrested.
Give me an ID on Jermaine Foster.
Police say the homeless man, 26-year-old Jermaine Foster, took off but was later caught and arrested. They add he was also involved in another theft shortly before this incident at a woman's apartment. In Bayonne, where Ambrosio worked as a nurse for more than 2 decades, the mayor says he befriended her during the pandemic, even seeing her just last week. He says he was always in awe of her commitment to her patients, adding her passing has left a permanent hole in this community.
She's a sweetheart. She was a loving person, a caring person. All she ever wanted to do was help. Even during the pandemic, she worked extra hours. She did everything she had to do for the people of the city of Bayonne.
Ambrosio's friends tell us she was married and had stepchildren, a committed member of her church and the Filipino community. They add, in addition to helping people, she loved music and travel.
She's like a sister to me, a younger sister. She's a good nurse, excellent nurse.
They say their friend will be remembered for her giving heart and her endless devotion to helping others. In Bayonne, New Jersey, Karen Dillon, CBS 2 News.
We have some heartbreaking news coming out of Central Georgia. A police officer there shot and killed overnight while working his very first shift on the job. GBI says 26-year-old Dylan Harrison was shot and killed just outside the Alamo Police Department. That was around 1 o'clock this morning. Alamo is in Wheeler County, about 2.5 hours southeast of Atlanta. A suspect in the shooting has been identified. Take a good look here. This is 43-year-old Damian Anthony Ferguson. He may also go by the name Luke Ferguson. GBI issuing a blue alert for his arrest, saying that he is considered a serious dangerous threat to the public.
Poor guy working his first shift. Working his first shift. God. 2.5 hours away from Atlanta. Now, I told you crime is starting to sprawl. Talk about urban sprawl. Yeah. Wow. You think you'd be safe as a cop 2.5 hours from Atlanta? Man. Heartbreaking, man. It's just tough right here. This is a tough one right here. Wow. Our first responders, our nurses, our cops, who's killing them? No one. Like, they rarely get killed. But when they do get killed, who's killing them? Wow.
Right now, a manhunt is underway for a man accused of killing a Central Georgia police officer in the line of duty on his first day. Dylan Harrison was working that first shift with the Alamo Police Department when he was shot outside the police station. Tonight, we are hearing exclusively from the family of Harrison. And as Joe Ripley reports, Harrison leaves behind not only his wife, but also a baby boy.
This spring, the pride and joy of Dylan Harrison's life was born. Brody Cash Harrison certainly has his dad's smile, but now 6-month-old Brody will grow up without his birth father.
He was super nice to everybody. Give you the shirt off his back, no matter what. He was always professional.
Lisa Milks calls her son-in-law someone who dedicated his life to service. Dylan Harrison was born in Lawrence County. He worked as a first responder in his hometown and served as a firefighter in Savannah. He then joined the ranks of law enforcement in 2018, working full-time with the Oconee Drug Task Force. In his first shift with the Alamo Police Department, Harrison's watch ended. The GBI says Harrison was shot and killed outside the Alamo Police Station around 1 o'clock Saturday morning. Milk says Harrison and his wife were texting moments before he was killed.
My mother lives down that way, and she said all the roads are blocked. They're actively looking for him.
The GBI has now named Damian Ferguson, who may also go by the name Luke, as the shooting suspect. A manhunt is underway across several surrounding counties. The GBI is offering a $17,500 reward for information leading to Ferguson's arrest.
The most important thing is to take the suspect into custody. So anyone that has any information, no matter how small you think it may be, if you can please report it to any one of those methods, and we will receive those tips.
Don't tell me the chief out here is a sister too. The hell? Jeez. Like, is that like a requirement to be a police chief? You gotta be a sister?
As a family processes loss, Milks wonders, what if?
We have really been trying to get him another job somewhere, and he just hadn't been able to find one, with a baby and, everything going on. He just hasn't been able to find a job that was the right fit.
But Harrison found his calling in service and in law enforcement and made his family and community proud of his work.
The GBI has issued a blue alert for suspect Damian Ferguson. A blue alert, by the way, is issued when someone has killed or injured an officer, has not been arrested, and is believed to be a serious threat to the public. Anyone with information should call the GBI at 1-800-597-TIPS, and we also have that number for you on 11alive.com. Tonight, an accused cop killer is now in custody. GBI tells us a SWAT team arrested 43-year-old Damian Ferguson this afternoon. You see him on your screen there. The arrest happening less than a mile away from where the deadly shooting happened at the Alamo Police Department in Wheeler County.
Look at that face. Not a scratch on it. Not a mark on that face. And we supposed to believe this sundown towns. Yeah, these sundown towns out here. This dude went down there and killed one of their cops. One of their finest. And his mugshot looked like this. Well, that's because they know that they gonna wait till after he do his mugshot. Whatever, man. Yikes, man. Just a sad, sad story all the way around.